The Internet Archive is a website that saves millions of copies of old images, videos, websites, and more. That got me wondering though, what would happen if I searched for Minecraft ARG on the Internet Archive? Well, that is exactly what I did, and what I discovered was something way darker than I would have ever imagined. The first and most interesting ARG I found is called Escaping Minecraft, and it has a backstory to why it actually ended up here on the list. You see, upon searching up Escaping Minecraft, I came across a Reddit post where someone was trying to find out more about the ARG, since back then barely anyone knew it existed. Apparently, it was a pretty small ARG because it only had 4 videos, all labeled Fragment 000X. Now, the reason it vanished off of YouTube is because one of the creators deleted it since he had the feeling of the ARG not being good enough. Luckily, another person from Reddit post's comments was in contact with the publishers of the ARG and managed to recover 3 of the 4 videos to the Internet Archive, including some of their thumbnails as well. Here is the first video that was recovered. Fragment 0001. It begins with our player, I'm guessing waking up, having a blurry vision from a past event. They look around, realizing they have been trapped in a small bedrock cage with no possible escape. And then this audio played. The audio that made me guessing for days if it had a meaning or not. I tried decoding this audio as Morse code. I even went ahead and checked for hidden messages in the spectrogram, but none of it mattered because nothing meaningful ever came out. But I wasn't giving up. I decided to reach out for help on Reddit, hoping some expert would reply, and one day, that dream came true. Thanks to this user, we were now given all the answers to the beepings. The way he solved it is just so absurdly complex, but I'll let him explain how he actually managed to do it. It's a monoalphabetic substitution cipher encoded in binary form. First, throw the audio in an editor and switch to the spectrogram view. It should look like this. The code is divided into sections, each outlined by a rising and falling tone. Inside them, there are bytes formed by 6 sound frequencies that are either on or off, forming a 6-bit binary code. The bytes are grouped by smaller sections of 3 columns, each separated by a null byte, but the grouping has no meaning in itself. There are 64 possible bytes that can happen. However, after analyzing all the audios, we can see that only 23 actually appear, a reasonable number for an alphabet. After some analysis and trial and error, I found the key. And applying the key to all fragments, these are the answers we receive. Even after reading his solution many times, I'm still speechless and left to understand many more things. But now, with this really helpful information here with us, here are what the beepings were trying to tell us. Help me. What is this place? Help me. No wait, let me out. Let me out. This video had a lot to cover and we understood every part to it, but the second recovered footage has even more to say. Our player is being dragged out of his prison room. What is that? The video cuts, and cuts one final time before they arrive to this place. The room looks a lot more friendly and has enough space unlike before. We can see paintings on the left side and some signs on the right. Where am I now? It looks welcoming. They proceed to read the signs, but the blurry vision makes it extremely hard to make out what they are actually saying, but after countless minutes, I managed to successfully figure that out. Welcome to your little dorm. Here you'll regain your remains after the horrible things that have happened to you. When you feel ready, please come to my room. Thanks. They then open this door with a ladder leading up to the surface and a sign writing, "Hey, I'm saving you." Our player responding with, "I cannot go back." Heading forward is this room with 2 door options. I figured out that the one with the obsidian wall is the place where our player is able to rest, as the sign says you can rest here, while also giving the needs to survive. I'll be giving you food and water here. please consume it all. After entering the rest area, we're met with nothing but paintings and a bed. I guess I will just rest now. Everything we just saw is a whole other side of the story compared to the first episode. Let me clarify myself a bit more. As we saw in the first fragment video, our anonymous player was being held in a literal 1-by-1 box, almost as if he was being tortured. But all of a sudden, that just changed, because in the second upload, we can tell how well our protagonist is actually taken care of. A place to rest in case they are tired, enough food and water so they don't starve, and perhaps even have the possibility to talk to the person that knows about their traumatic past experiences. With all that now in mind, this is what the third and final recording has to offer. Fragment 0003 starts off with our player waking up from a nap, saying, "Thankfully I had a good rest," and coming out of their room to see water and food on the table that has been delivered as promised. There is food for me, but I am only thirsty. They then check out this room we haven't seen before, and catching the attention of the following message: "Please do not enter this door. You're not ready for anything yet." The meaning of this sign is a bit blurry, but it displays Q&A with you. I want to see what is here. And well, what is this room about, you may ask? Well, here is what they tell us. Welcome to the Q&A room. Please answer all the questions. To answer a question, simply pull a lever. On equals no and off equals yes. Please go through each question carefully. The first question is the following: "Do you know your name?" To which they unexpectedly reply with no. "Do you feel dizzy?" Yes, most likely the reason for the blurry vision. "Do you remember what happened before I found you in the cage?" No. "Can you speak, anyway, at all?" Yes, I can only speak like this. And finally, "Are you scared of me?" Yes, responding with a beeping answer. I do not know who they are. After answering all the questions, they read this sign noting "My room," actually. They take a look at the rooms again before going to bed and sending us a message one final time: "I will go rest again." So what exactly was the escaping Minecraft ARG even about? What is its purpose? It seems to tell the story of a player who first awakes, locked up in a cage with no explanation, having the blurry vision caused by the headache and not being able to talk. The story also reveals how our protagonist had a dark past and perhaps even lost their memory, judging by the no answer to the "Do you know your name?" Our player is scared of whoever is in control of all of this, since they have no idea who they actually are, yet that anonymous person is trying to help them by, as mentioned, saving them, giving them food and water, and even a place to rest, while questioning our player with the given yes or no choices as answers. But the admin of this place, can he not hear our protagonist speak at all, or is it actually just beeping sounds? Whichever traumatic experiences our player had to live through must have been horrible, judging by the condition he's currently in, but at least a thing we learned is the fact that he's recovering and is in a safe place now. The next ARG I came across was this, uploaded by Gitaras. Jeff_159 ARG re-uploads. "Do not enter point" in all capitals is the first screen recording's name. Two friends, PizSeed and Jeff_159 are playing. The video is laggy and it has no audio. At around 30 seconds, if we pause the footage, we are able to read these three signs. Mioa Hazel Bro was here, Doma_2011 was here, and finally, PizSeed was here. Based off of that alone, there are two possibilities I have in mind. Either one, this is an online Minecraft survival server, or two, it's a survival server and all the players know each other. But those aren't the only signs we can spot. There's one in the village as well saying, "Do you believe in God?" Then many more here at the closed mine displaying, "Don't open." A bit too many times actually, like there's something down there that should not be seen by anyone. And well, I might have just gotten that theory correctly, because let's just read these two signs. He watches you all the time when you sleep. If you open, you will die. What could be something so dangerous that the players don't want to escape? An entity perhaps? Maybe that's the main reason for the set traps like this iron door with a pressure plate in the middle. Moving on, Piss Seed says, "So do you want a tour?" Which means that in reality, this is Jeff's first time ever visiting this place, except our player completely ignores him and doesn't respond. Jeff 159 then approaches the mine, and this is Piss Seed's reaction. His behavior changed in an instant. He welcomed our player so nicely, whereas here he attacked him with his sword. Is it possible that Piz is suffering from previous traumatic events like PTSD? But anyways, these are the last 30 seconds of the video. Before moving on to the second recording, let's first have a quick short summary and analyzation about everything we just saw. Jeff_159 is the new face in this village and wants to learn as much as possible, this including Piz Seed gatekeeping him from the mines. In the cut to this dark scene is a Morse code sent by none other than Piz. Who have I been praying for? But after he sees our player join the server, he switches back to normal behavior. Oh, hi there, welcome back. Jeff, desperate to find out what that abandoned mine truly is hiding, his actions are about to make him regret entering it in the first place. This next video isn't anything like the previous one. G-weird dot structure. The textures you see on screen are some I bet you've never seen before, because neither have I. Half cut off nether portals, fire, whatever these green and red things are, and a block that for some reason reminds me of the command prompts bar. This unknown anomaly that's in creative blocks off the entrance and so this hole in the wall upstairs. They then proceed to climb down into this area and go back up literally seconds later before ending the recording after pressing the button that assumingly activated something. Help is what the next footage was named, and the recording seems to have low bitrate. Whoever's POV this is, they have this detailed kind of crosshair and no hearts nor hunger bars. They wander around the village before finding the none other than Piz Seed. This player then starts using signs to communicate instead of the chat. Hello, do you know Jeff_159, they ask. Yes, Piz replies. Then don't leave him play alone here, he can get them here fast. They are coming. Who? We don't know who this anonymous person warning Piz Seed is, and we don't know if they have ever even met before, although they might not be connected if we pay close attention. After this entity said they are coming, Piz had zero clue on who they were relating to, replying with who. We can clearly confirm the fact that Piz Seed knows who Jeff is, and as we saw from the first ever episode, Piz have already tried and did stop Jeff 159 from opening the doors of the deep secret mine. This is literally a 50-50 situation if they are working together or not, so to actually find out, let's start by going to the recording called New Project. Error blocks covering the entire world, and based off of the sound from the broken blocks, we can confirm that they are grass blocks like from any ordinary world. We can see that it's the same player from the previous video recording this one as well. They start walking in a direction, mine blocks, whatever this is pops up in the top left corner of the screen, and it ends with them blocking themselves up in a base. I didn't mention two things, where one being this uncanny echoing audio in the background being played, and two, displayed sign at the entrance of the base, but we aren't able to read it no matter how hard we try, it's too pixelated. Besides all this, I'm just so confused what this even was about, so let's move on to the broken sky parts. The same type of footage again, this time being a minute long. It begins with them climbing up a staircase, where they then exit the building. We can then take a look at these unknown blue, green and red mosaic pixelated objects and see that only half of the sky looks like this. Turns out those colored blocks viewed up closely look like this. Not sure if I'm the only one, but at first glance they reminded me of colored glass. Ignoring the fact that they have the ability to walk through not all but just some of them, the last scene is our protagonists covering themselves up. Okay, now I did try getting out as much information as possible from these last two recordings, so here are my top finds. The crosshair didn't get me any relative results besides it being detailed, but I did find an anomaly about it though. If we zoom in and inspect it, we can see that it changes colors from time to time, like green, blue, pink and red, quite mostly like the structures we saw before. Second, these colored glasses I couldn't find an actual meaning besides one thing. If we go all the way back to the G Weird Structure video, behind the player's crosshair has one of the colors, blue. It's Jeff_159 recording this time, and for the first time ever we can actually see what his skin looks like. He mines down a whole tree, crafts himself plenty of oak plants, but that is when this jump scare happens. Then the next video starts off by Jeff telling us that he didn't actually quit the world last time and he will not. We can see that he built his home in the side of a mountain, more precisely the same spot where the entity stood at. If we pause the footage, we can also tell that our player built the same kind of trap we saw in the village from the first episode, trying to trap the entity with it, most likely. And yet again they appear out of nowhere while Jeff was mining. Watch. Let's slow down the footage and analyze it step by step. First of all, this is what looks like to be an arm perhaps reached out of the darkness from below, probably trying to grab Jeff and play the same audio from the previous recording. I tried decoding the audio in all sorts of ways, but there were no results. Then finally, the same white entity with the symbol marks appears in front, playing this really loud noise, which unfortunately doesn't have any sort of meaning, making our protagonist end the recording. The next footage cuts back to the same anonymous person at the same place. Trust me when I say this, but all that really happens is them opening a crafting table menu, a chest, and mining grass blocks while this unsettling background audio is playing. The following screen recording is the sequel of the previous one, Weird.Place 2. It's only 13 seconds long and it seems as the quality has went down so much that by this point we can only see colors. We still can't tell what the sign says, and the only movement we see from our protagonist is them spinning around. That's literally everything. The next video is the last and final one where we are in the unexplainable dimension. It's called Sky Sounds, and we're about to find out what it's truly trying to represent. Nothing out of the ordinary is happening until out of nowhere this roaring sound plays, judging by the name that sound being the sky. What caused the sky to do that though? Well, a small detail, possibly being the solution I noticed, was the fact that this anonymous player recording was ready for this event to happen. What I mean by that is the fact that they started barricading themselves up even before the sky gave out that thunder-like sound, and finally the screen turns grey like the lightning struck for one last time, ending a possibly bad cause. Someone or something was in my PC altogether is the next video's name. It starts off with a text saying, "I found this recording and wrote save on my PC," and Jeff from the past seems to be in a dirt crater putting out fires while having no items and being on one heart. Climbs up the ladder, breaks a sign that was displaying "Oh my god," and instead writes "Leave this world, it's broken," like it's implying to the entities to stop. Leave, there's something in my world, before Jeff ends the video. Reviewing the footage, I came across a theory. Since everything we saw was stone, dirt, fire, and nothing else, could it be that the same sound from the sky.sound video caused this? Like a meteor falling, for example, because that was the first thing the site reminded me of. And it also seems as old Jeff was already being haunted by these entities, and that's probably the reason he built those traps in the other worlds of his. And that trap might have just captured one in this next recording. This is the title of the video, with the only readable word being trap. We are viewing the perspective of the same entity that attacked Jeff 159 before, except this time things are about to change. Jeff has finally managed to capture one of the entities, but what will happen now? Well, there's still one more upload to look at. The last ever re-upload is this one. The entity Jeff captured is in a room ready to go through a blocked off nether portal, and these last few frames show us multiple armor stands appearing in front of our entity, ending the story of Jeff_159.